What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We got a bourbon tonight that really is in the center of just bourbon history. It's been a lot of hype around this bottle. I've been waiting to try it for a while. Finally got my hands on batch 5 of this. It's Castle and Key small batch bourbon coming out of Frankfort, Kentucky. Really want to get a review on this when I was in Louisiana to see what Ryan and John had to say about it and see what they liked it, what they thought about it, but didn't really get around to it. But yeah, we're gonna do it right now though. So Castle and Key Bourbon, guys. Like I said, I got batch 5. It's a small batch. Coming out of Frankfort, Kentucky. I say it's a lot of hype. A lot of hype, but just with me. I've watched. If you've ever seen Neat bourbon documentary, it was on Hulu for a while. It probably still is on Hulu. It's Castle and Key Distillery is featured on the Neat documentary. Marion Barnes, which is Marion Eves now. Marion Barnes owned it. And on the Neat documentary, they talk about how it was the old E.H. Taylor distillery, which, you know, around that time, it was E.H. Taylor wanted to have like a bourbon tourism. That's really what he built that. It was a castle pretty much that he built this building just to be like a cathedral of whiskey, just of bourbon really. To have people go there and visit. Around this time, bourbon kind of fell off as far as popularity. Clear spirits took over. So gins, vodkas, all that took off. And bourbon just kind of fell by the wayside. And it ended up closing. And so in the documentary, when you watch it, Marion Barnes opens it up. She starts making whiskey, but it's the beginning process you see in of them picking out the corn, what they want to make to start making the whiskey. So the whole time I'm watching this, I'm thinking, man, I got to get my hands on that whiskey whenever she comes out with it. Because she seemed like she was very passionate about bourbon. But here we are, you know, with batch 5. I mean, I don't know how many batches they are out right now. This is probably one of the later batches, batch 5, released in 2022. So this one comes in at 100 proof. It's about 4 years old, although it's not a bottled in bond. They probably will make a bottle and bond later. It happens to be 100 proof for this batch. The color on it, a little lighter than a lot of bourbons. It's probably hard to make out on here, but a little lighter than a lot of bourbons I've had. But we'll get into it. You know, let's get into the nose. So. Off on the nose, very grassy, lighter notes. Nothing really dark about it. No heavy caramels. Definitely no nutty notes in it. No dark fruit. Almost comes off like an Irish whiskey. Almost like an Irish whiskey bourbon blend, which is weird to me. But there's a youthful note, like a youthful metallic kind of note in it. But it's grassy, butterscotch, almost like a butterscotch toffee. That's really about it, though. It's kind of simple in the nose, really not a whole lot of complexity to it, but grassy, butterscotch toffee. But it has that kind of that youthful, like metallic note in there. My dad said it smelled like turpentine. I was like, I don't know about turpentine, but definitely metallic and youthful. But all right, guys, let's get into the taste. Cheers. So, on the taste, that metallic note drowns out everything. Uh, you do get some honey. You get honey that's in there. The grassy note's definitely there, but it's all kind of drowned out by this youthful metallic note. I know it's 4 years old. If somebody said it was only like 2 years old, I wouldn't argue with them because that's really kind of how the flavor comes out is really, really youthful, really young. It's sweet though. Honey, almost like a floral note in there. Just kind of like almost like a rose water kind of floral note. Spices though. It drinks hot for 100 proof. To be honest with you. And that's that youthful metallic note kind of hitting in there, almost like a what you call it, like a bourbon that's like a small batch. It's a small batch bourbon, but it's almost like a. I'm trying to think of a word for it. I can't think of it right now. It's just a youthful metallic note. It's there for sure. But there are some flavors in there. Like I said, it's just drowned out by that note. I get a lot of honey in it. That floral note, grassy note. Not a whole lot of dark caramel though that you would get from typical most bourbons. There is like a very hint of a vanilla. That's really about it with it. The finish isn't that long. The finish kind of tuckers off pretty quick. But its spices are there. Like for being, I don't think there's a whole lot of rye in the mash bill, but man, the spices are there, and it's a very like it's a hot 100 proof bourbon. It's definitely hot. So about mid palate, these spices start coming in. You get your cinnamons, but it's not like a cinnamon that you would get from most bourbons. It's almost like a menthol kind of burn to it. That might I mean you can almost say it's spices, but it's like a menthol kind of spearmint spice that kind of comes in there about mid palate. But then it kind of tuckers off after that. So, but I mean, I don't know. That youthful note kind of just drowns out. That metallic note drowns out a lot of the flavor in it. And when it comes to bourbons, like I like, complexity and stuff like that. I like grassy notes or it kind of reminds me of like lowland scotch, but or like that butterscotch in it kind of reminds me of like an Irish whiskey. But I don't know. When I want bourbon, I want caramel, heavy caramel, brown sugar, really dark notes, and you don't get that with this. It's just like a lighter bourbon. But really, just not my cup of tea. On its, they do make so Ryan had the Restoration Rye, which they love that. They buy that Restoration Rye all the time. It's almost like a staple in the house. I think they keep it as like just something to keep in the bar. It's something that they always have on hand. This one, this will probably be a once over for me. I don't think I'll buy another Castle and Key. At least it's not the small batch. If they came out with the cask strength and it really, a lot of people recommend it. I don't know. I might try it out before I buy another. I'll definitely try it out before I buy another bottle. This one runs about $45-50. So I mean, it's up there for the price. It's a $50 bourbon, and coming in at $50, Couyons rating on it, I'm going 5.5. So 5.5. It wouldn't be a buy again for me for the small batch personally, but like I said, it's a huge history with this bourbon. I really enjoy watching the documentary on Hulu and watching them actually start from the ground up making the bourbon. And a historic E.H. Taylor distillery, old E.H. Taylor distillery. But I don't know. I'd like to see them maybe go a different route on the bourbon. and I'm sure they will. They seem like the type of people that would take note of what's going on, and if they need to, kind of go a different route and do what they need to do. I think right now, I don't even think Marion Barnes owns it right now. I think she recently, I don't know how long ago, a year or two, sold the distillery to somebody else before the bourbon was even finished, and they own it, and they select cask and grains and stuff like that. They're making all the decisions. And the whiskey, I don't think she has any part in it, or she may just almost be like somebody just that they take in and kind of get information from, take recommendations from her. But I don't think she has any part in ownership in it anymore. So, but that's Castle and Key Bourbon, 5.5. That's what we're going with on that one. But check us out, guys. Let me know. I know some people out there that's tried Batch 5 Castle and Key. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and we'll see you guys in the next video.